Well, I tell you, you go back and if you look at the tape at all, he made 2 bad pitches. Made the pitch to Beltran, tried to go up and in, left it on the plate. Tried to go down the way to McGann, and left it on the plate. So, but I mean the pitches that Ellsbury and Gardner hit. I mean, made good decent pitches. They just put them in, got 2 hits, and then, with a hitting account like that, you can't make mistakes to those real good hitters. So, and he did. Otherwise, he was outstanding. Threw the ball very, very well. Very impressed.
Yes, sir, Jim.
Overall, with Syndergaard, are you concerned at all about the home runs? They're starting to pile up a little bit.
No.
What does he have to do to kind of limit that? Because it seems like he only gets hurt when the ball goes over the fence.
Well, that happens to a lot of pitchers. He's a power guy, and they're going once in a while they're going to make mistakes. But we've got him to continue to work on the command of his stuff. Make sure the 2-seamer stays down the zone. If he wants to go up, he's got to. If you miss, you got to miss out of the strike zone a little bit more. And so, especially when you're heading to count 1 and 2 like he was to Carlos. I mean, you can't miss in the middle of the plate for sure. But, no, I'm not concerned about Noah Syndergaard. I thought today he threw the ball very, very well. Like I said, he took the 2 swings away, and it's a pretty good game.
Terry, nobody expected Cespedes to have anything close to what he's been doing, but what are you seeing now in his at-bats? Anything standing out to you?
He went through this at one other time where he went into a little bit of a funk, and then he came out and he was red hot. One of the coaches brought up today during the game that, he's 0 for 15 since they drilled him. So I don't think he's afraid by any stretch of the imagination, but we'll just keep running him out there.
I think there was one changeup to Ellsbury, but with Syndergaard, the first 3 batters was all fastballs. I know in the past you've talked about him in the first inning trying to diversify the pitches a little bit. Would you like to see a little more diversity?
I do, Adam. I mean, we talked about that too, about Jake. We've talked about it. These power guys, they've still got to mix their pitches up. I mean, they've still got to get them off the fast. Even if it's ball 1, he's got good enough command not to be afraid to throw a pitch that's not necessarily a strike. And that is one of the things we're trying to get all these young guys do. Jarice is followed with anybody. He'll be 0-2 and throw one right down the middle when you don't have to throw a strike. And so it's certainly things that they've got to learn to be able to do. But mixing up, changing speeds is a huge part of pitching, and we've got to do a better job of it.
I know you've only seen him twice, and your lineup was so different when you saw Pineda in April. But what did you see from him today? And he was pretty efficient in his pitches as well.
Well, you look at, he's a strike thrower. And so, you got to go up there and look for strikes. And when he located like he did today, especially with his slider, he moves the ball in and out. You look at a lot of guys got the ball in on some guys. Even some of the balls we hit good, we just hit them foul. And that's, when you're missing in off the plate or, making your pitches, guys aren't going to get real good swings on them. So that's what I thought he did. I thought he, threw the ball very well, in and out. Just one of those afternoons.
Sir, do you think there's anything to that with Cespedes? I mean, getting drilled, and then we've seen it with other guys before, just getting into a little out of the groove that he was in, or is it a little too much?
I don't know, Tony. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him, obviously. So, like I said, we've seen this stretch where, he had 3 or 4 bad games in a row, and everybody's shaking their head. And, I mean, I got guys running in, you need to give him a day off, you need to give him a day off. And I'd go to talk to him, and he'd say, no, I'm fine. But, right now he's just not hitting the ball like he did for that long stretch. We're going to take him out of the 2-hole tomorrow and put him someplace else. See if we can get some guys on ahead of him, maybe, and that might help out.
Terry, with Uribe, when you batted him for Duda, I know Duda can be pretty unpredictable, as you found about what he can do, and you've always talked about Uribe with being a big hit guy. Is that what you saw there? I mean, because Wilson is pretty straight up against both sides.
Right, both sides. Yeah, and actually Lucas has a home run against him. But coming back, as much as Lucas has been out, I just thought with what I saw last night with Juan getting a big hit, I said, hey, here's an opportunity to get back in the game. That's why I ran him up there.
Are you worried at all, Terry, without taking a shot with Duda there about how, trying to keep him mentally locked in and that sort of thing?
He's going to play tomorrow against CC. So, I mean, it's one of the things, Dave. I feel this way. You got to pick and choose your spots, and he knows he's a big piece of the team. So, like I said, he'll be in there tomorrow, and hopefully get some big hits.
Terry, what's your comfort level with Matt tomorrow night with all the histrionics of what's been going on and everything, him coming in tonight? What do you think?
Well,
What do you
first
think
of all, there's no pitch count. I don't know where that's coming up. But there's no pitch count involved. I'm going to just limit his workload, and that'll be my decision when I think he should come out. Obviously, if he's working very, very hard, it might be earlier. If he's cruising, it might be a little bit later. But he's not going to go deep into the game. We'll just see how he does and how they react to him.
What do you feel? How do you feel he'll do tomorrow?
Well, he's Matt Harvey. I always feel good. When I come to the ballpark and he's pitching, there's a smile on my face. I always think he's going to, and he gets up for, as you know, Kevin, for these kind of games. You look any night he's pitched, especially Sunday night games, national TV, big audience, big crowd, the Yankees. He loves to pitch against the Yankees, and I expect him to step up. Unfortunately, I'm going to have some reins on him. So I just want him to go out there and pitch as long as I'll let him pitch and pitch well.
Terry, the starting pitching has been so good over most of the course of the year, and it seems like there's been some inconsistencies here in the last month. And you've talked so much about young starters getting to this point in the year. Do you think this is some of the results there, or is this just a matter of they couldn't be that good for that long a period of time, and maybe they were due to have a little bit of this?
Mark, again, you got to learn how to pitch in this month. This is when you really got to reach back down inside and say, how am I going to get through this? If I haven't done it before, this extra 5 weeks that we play in September, it's grueling, because these guys all started. They started working out last January, and you're looking up, 9-10 months later, and you start to run out of gas a little bit, even though you may not feel like it. So, but it's all part of the process. We're trying to do the best we can to make sure they stay as healthy as possible, but we still got to pitch them. And that's my whole theory and my whole thing with Matt. Matt hasn't pitched in September either. He's got to learn how to go do it. He's got to go do it. And if we get into the postseason, we've got to have him ready. So if it means backing him down innings-wise, we'll do that. Because I still think that's what's going to keep him sharper, and yet also teach him how to get through this month. Because next year they've got to do it again, and certainly with more innings than they have now. So a learning process.
But have the results given you any pause, like going into what you guys might be facing here later on down the road, as far as just they have been pretty up and down?
Mark, we have no other choices. These are the guys. So regardless if I have concerns, I'm not going down to Binghamton and bringing anybody up who's got a couple weeks rest. These are the guys. We're going to go with them. So, if they're going to struggle, they're going to struggle. But we're going to go with the guys that brought us to the dance. So that's the way it's going to be.
Any last ones?
He's in the third row. Jay has a little tough time seeing past row 2.
Terry, I wonder, along those lines, do you view these, as you're looking at these today, Syndergaard struggled a little bit. Do you look at these as auditions for the postseason?
I do not. If we get in the postseason, as I'm sitting here, Noah Syndergaard will be starting one of the first few games. He had, like I said, in the first inning, he gave up bloop single, 3-run homer, and then zeros for quite a while. I don't consider that struggling. That's just me. If you gave up 3 in the first and 2 in the second and 1 in the third, that's struggling. I didn't see that. I saw a guy who threw the ball very well against an outstanding lineup, especially against right-handed pitching, an outstanding lineup. A-Rod's not even in there, but they've got a very good lineup, so you got to make pitches. And when you make a mistake, they got enough power. Brian McCann's had a heck of a year, 25 home runs. You got to make pitches. And when you miss, which is going to happen, it's human nature to miss, especially when you're young and you throw 98 miles an hour and you miss down the middle, you're going to get hit. But I have to tell you, I thought he pitched pretty good.